Hey, remember those heady days when your leftist teachers pretended to be free speech advocates even as they shut down liberty-minded dissent in class and never questioned federal bureaucracies like the FCC? And of course, they favored certain kinds of free speech and not others. Well, now their leftist heroes in DC are pushing for a nationwide COVID jab version of just that kind of thing. And they want to do it on your cell phones. I'll tell you all about it. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. As Politico reports, and they do so in vaguely glowing terms, the DNC and additional Biden pals want to institute that collectivist take on speech that I mentioned. We might know it as censorship, and they want to do it all the way down to the level of your text messages. Here's an example of the way Politico reports on the plans. Quote, Biden-allied groups, including the Democratic National Committee, are also planning to engage fact-checkers more aggressively and work with SMS, short message service, carriers to dispel misinformation about vaccines that is sent over social media and text messages. The goal is to ensure that people who may have difficulty getting a vaccination because of issues like transportation see those barriers lessened or removed entirely. Just the way Politico reports this stuff, just unbelievable. I mean, oh my goodness. They're so blind to their own incredible biases. Has anyone else noticed that this term fact check sounds more and more like speech policing and censorship? And how exactly do personal text messages get in the way of people getting transportation or jabs? And furthermore, does the fact that Politico repeatedly errs in using the term vaccine to describe these experimental mRNA gene vector injections mean that their reports too would be censored by SMS providers per the intent of the so-called free speech-loving, inclusive Dems and Biden allies? Offers Politico. Quote, we are steadfastly committed to keeping politics out of the effort to get every American vaccinated so that we can save lives and help our economy further recover, White House spokesperson Kevin Munoz said. When we see deliberate efforts to spread misinformation, we view that as an impediment to the country's public health and will not shy away from calling that out. You heard that right. Keeping politics out of the efforts to get every American vaccinated. Has it ever entered Kevin's head that every aspect of this effort is political because his position, the jabs, the door-to-door jab checker squads, the insane CDC recommendations, the lockdowns, the NIH, all of it is tied to the polis and is, by definition, political. The effort, as he says, itself is funded by extorting tax cash from my neighbors to fund Munoz's salary, to pay the pharma corporations and the unconstitutional FDA, which of course rapidly gave the jabs emergency use authorization, despite them not being tested for more than 2 years with real challenges, as real vaccines are tested. Here, Munoz appears to be walking that path, followed by many Biden sycophants, including Anthony Fauci, who, in conversation with the boot-looking Jake Tapper on CNN Sunday, claimed that vaccinations have nothing to do with politics. It's a public health issue. Which, Anthony, means it's political. Your position at the NIH's National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, is firmly ensconced within the polis. And the term public health is a self-defeating, political, consequentialist label submerging the individual beneath the group. And the term group, Tony, is just a word applied to numerous individuals who never lose their individuality when put into the so-called group. There is really no such thing as group health. There's only the health of the individuals. That's all. And you, Tony, are pushing government policy. In other words, your very claim that it is not political is, by definition, political. Is that too difficult for these folks to grasp? The precise process of how the DNC and the Biden lackeys actually plan on silencing all of us, individuals, through our cell carriers is not revealed. But Politico goes to great lengths to pretend that only those on the right, not Munoz and not Fauci and not the DNC and certainly not Politico, only the people on the right engage in rhetorical flourishes to get across their points. These guys seem to see only right-leaning messages as deserving so-called vetting. So, Politico says, quote, Turning Point USA has also sent out SMS messages urging people to sign petitions on the topic. In one message viewed by Politico, Charlie Kirk contends Biden is sending goons door to door to make you take a COVID-19 vaccine. Sign the petition to No Medical Raids in America, end quote. And while Charlie Kirk might be jumping to conclusions, he easily could have mentioned the unassailable truth of the whole thing. The government already is forcing mandates on us. Mandates to pay for every government employee and plan involved in this whole mess. Politico doesn't mention anything about that either. Of course they don't. In fact, without a hint of objective criticism, they blindly offer the other side of the non-factual coin when it comes to the door-to-door jab checkers. As if it were fact, Politico offers this about the jab knockers. This, which was spouted by Fauci on CNN. Quote, It's trusted messengers who are part of the community doing that, not government officials. On every level, this is erroneous. Trusted by whom? Members of what community, Anthony? And if they're not tied to the government, who exactly is paying them, Anthony? This is incredible. But Fauci's statements, they go unquestioned by Politico. Indeed, Politico uses them to bolster the idea that this DNC Biden ally plan to censor your personal text messages is actually laudable. Will the US government, which has been exposed for collecting cell phone data contrary to the Fourth Amendment, will they ever be called to task for that? Oh, well, people were justifiably angry at the time. So what did the government do? The insufferable feds gave legal immunity to cell phone carriers that turn over your personal data, thus effectively doing what the government wanted to do, but now skirting the Fourth Amendment. Yeah, they're having the cell carriers do it, and then they're asking for the info from the cell carriers. And now the feds will collect your medical data, and they want to censor your cell phone texts if you don't agree with it. Incredible. I sometimes wonder if I could get a satellite phone, if that would skirt all of this. Or maybe, how about one of those Maxwell Smart shoe phones, right?
This is Smart. Maxwell Smart, Agent 86.
Well, probably not. The shoe phone would actually most likely come in the form of a government boot. A boot that, as George Orwell said, will be stomping on a human face forever. Hey, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Do the same at Rumble. And all our videos are housed at Rumble, as I wonder when I'm going to put my shoe back on. All our videos are housed at Rumble. You can check them out there. And please tell people to subscribe there, too. It's a great repository, and they're not censoring us, which is fantastic. We've been slammed by you-know-what tube on more than one occasion. And also visit us on, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and always at MRCTV.org. For MRC-TV. Keep fighting for freedom, everybody. I'm Gardner Goldsmith. Now, what am I going to do with my shoe?